that's cool.
Daine's on. What's up, Dainezo?
What's up, guys?
Just telling everybody about the flip we just picked up in Sugar House.
Nice.
A good solid one.
I love Sugar House.
Me too. I've done like 12 of them on Zenith Avenue, but
I know. Dude, imagine if you would have kept all those. You would like own
I own that whole street. Yeah, right?
You could have changed the street name if you wanted to.
Exactly. Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, we just did one
cool
in Sugar House. We bought the house and flipped it, and the guy came from across the street. He's like, "What are y'all doing around here?" And he's like asking us all these questions. "Oh, we're just gonna fix it up, turn around, sell it." And he goes, "Well, when you guys are done with that one, you want to buy mine?"
Nice.
We want
yes,
to move, and so we're buying his house across the street. We're going to use our own house as a comp because it just sold, and we're going to buy this one, fix it all up. It'll be perfect.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's a great place to flip, and I'm excited to be doing this one because it's just kind of a bread and butter kind of thing. So good times. Well, we've got a couple of awesome things planned for the call today. First off, Daine was our guest speaker last week, and he assigned some homework to us. We're going to be letting him kind of start the call for us today, and we're going to start out. I had the screenshot of who was here last week, but I'm not. There it is. Nope.
I was not here last week. I completely spaced it off.
It's all good. It's all good.
No worries. I'll just pick on you.
By the way,
okay.
I'm not going to be here next week, so we're going to take a break actually from Ask Mitch Anything. I've got a challenge that we're doing with some non-student. Hopefully, they will become students. That's the whole point of the challenge. But it's a week-long challenge, and it conflicts with the Ask Mitch Anything call. So I think, just let's take an extended Thanksgiving holiday, and we'll be skipping next week's Ask Mitch Anything, but we will continue the following week back on schedule. Now we're going to hear from Daine. Once Daine's done, we're going to be walking through a flip that we're just wrapping up. We just got the staging done. We're putting it on the market. You guys have already seen it. It's our 1895 house or 1894 house. I forget which year it is, but it's completely done. $20,000 staircase and all. So we're going to get a chance to see that. Tyson is at the property as we speak. So let's go ahead and dive in. Daine, the time is yours, my friend.
Cool. Let's see. Can I share my screen by chance?
Yes, we need Tyson to make you a host.
Cool.
There you go.
All right. Let me share this. So for those who were not here last week, I'm just going to take like 2 minutes and bring everybody up to speed. So in a nutshell, I looked Mitch in the eye and I handed him like 4 credit cards, and I said, "Run it, but Mitch, this better freaking work." And so that was 5 years ago. Yesterday, no, it was November 15th. So that was 5 years ago, 2 days ago, Sunday. And I just completed my 100th and some odd, let's just say 100th deal a few weeks ago. I just completed my 100th real estate investing transaction between flips and wholesales and rentals and seller finances and bank deals, bunch of commercial, bunch of different types of stuff. And it was interesting because I feel like it set me free just
Happy
to
anniversary,
gain,
by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Just to gain knowledge on how this stuff works. And so last week I shared a little bit about that, but ultimately the biggest thing that I've taken away from my 5 years as a student, and I still feel like I'm a student, I'm learning new stuff every day. But in the last 5 years, I feel like the only thing I've really taken away is that all wealth is created through conversation. And if you understand how to have a conversation with the right person and you know what to say, then that's where you're going to get compensated. And we talked about the different types of conversations that I've had where I've met people where they're like, holy cow, like, can I just be your bank? And now I've got like a $6.5 million private line of credit that never pulled my credit. They don't even know my social security number. And I'm able to buy any piece of real estate. In fact, in between yesterday and Monday, we will have picked up 7 more properties and never once used my personal credit. And so anyway, how to have that type of conversation. Let me use my pen here. So last week we talked about that.
Hey, Daine.
Go ahead.
I accidentally made you a host instead of a co-host, so I'm not able to let people in. Would you mind making me a co-host?
Let's see, how do I do that? In fact, here, let me add these people that are waiting, and then I go, are you knowledge source?
Yes.
Cool. So if I just make you co-host, is that fine?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. There you are.
Thanks.
All right. Okay. So anyway, just to get those bearings, the 4 different types: people that want to give you money, people that want to help you in the process of making money. So all your contractors, realtors, title agents, attorneys, inspectors, right? Inspectors are awesome, by the way. But anyway, all the people that are going to help you make money. And then of course, the people that they want to sell you their house. So again, all wealth is built through conversation. You just become a detective for how you can help each and every person. And when you help that person, you're going to get compensated, right? So my challenge for everybody last week was to have at least one conversation that revolved around the words investing in real estate or real estate investing, however you want to say it, right? So let's see, if I ask everybody to chat, let's see, where do I find the chat? Everybody chat in, and I want to hear, in fact, tell me how many conversations everybody had. In fact, can people chat with this, or does chat not work? If it doesn't work, that's no worries.
Chat works fine.
How do I pull up the chat?
On the bottom, you should see.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Cool. So Knowledge Source says he had 3. Okay, so everybody, Eugene, Coach Road, Dan, Hannah, Jason, Jen's iPhone, Kathy, Ron. Hey, Ron. Ronald, Sheri.
Chat.
Everybody tell me, how many real estate investing conversations did you have in the last 7 days? And then I'm going to ask you guys to tell me some stories. Okay. So Knowledge Source says he had 3. Eugene had 5. Great job. Kathy had 3. Jen's iPhone. I'm just going to call you Jenn. Jenn had 3. Ronald had 1. Let's see, who we missing? Let's see, we got
I'm
Kathy,
driving, so
Jason. Yeah, just tell us.
2 a day.
2 a day. Love it. Love it. Love it. Ronald, let's see, who are we missing? Who was that? Was that Hannah?
That was Sheri.
Sheri. Oh, that's right. Coach Road, just with Mitch. No worries, it counts. Real estate investing conversation is a real estate investing conversation. But the way that you...
Charlotte was in on that deal in Sugar House we just picked up. So she got into a deal by having some real estate conversations.
Bam, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay. Hannah says she had 1. Let's see, who are we missing? Did we get Eugene? Yep, we did. Yeah, you know who you are if we missed you. But yeah, great job, guys. Okay, so let's go down the list, because now if you guys will, in fact, Dan, I don't think I saw you. Let's see. Dan, did you tell us yet? Yeah, tell us, Dan. How many real estate investing conversations in the last 7 days? Ron, I don't think I saw you either. Ron, let us know, brother. I can pick on you because I know who you are. Ron. 2 conversations though. Yeah, no worries if you weren't here. I'll catch you up to speed on what we're doing, and it'll still work. Okay, perfect. If I were to guess, I probably had at least, I don't know, a couple dozen. That's all I do these days is have real estate investing conversations. But back when I was just doing this part-time, it was probably 5 to 10 a week, maybe. But anyway, all right, so let's go down the list, and let's have Eugene. Eugene had 5 conversations in the last 7 days. So Eugene, interesting question for you. I want you to tell us the story of your favorite, either your favorite high or your favorite low conversation that you can learn from. Tell us the story, and would love to see if there's any way that I can help you through my own experiences of having similar conversations. There's not a lot I haven't seen in the past 5 years.
So there basically were 2 that I quickly want to highlight. So the first one, I did have a conversation with a contact of mine. He's more like a stock broker, retirement broker. But anyway, it ended up he had not have any particular interest, but he has a very good friend who is in our state and he calls himself a venture capitalist. And so this friend of mine committed to reach out to him to see whether we can possibly contact and have a future conversations. Now, I haven't heard back yet, so I'm very much looking forward to that. So that was the one side. But the other one that I was a little more excited about was I actually reached out to a couple of people to say, look, if you know of anybody who is struggling to find either a bank who can't finance them, or they have credit issues or tax number issues. Anyway, so one person came back to me, and they identified a property here in our local town that they were very keen to buy. So I did quick comps, and the property was listed at about $315,000. And what they did is they took a single family home and converted it into a 2-story. They ran out of money, so the whole upper level has not yet been completed. And so I actually did reach out to Mitch for a little bit of guidance. The unfortunate thing, 2 unfortunate things, is by the time I got around to actually trying to make an offer, they had accepted it from somebody else already. But the other issue was that the person who was interested in this particular property, he had a 10% down on this initial price, but the problem was he didn't have sufficient funds to actually then finish off the rehab that needed at least about $150,000 to $170,000.
So big project.
So it was a big project. Yeah, I mean it went from about 1,050 square feet to over 3,700 square feet. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to get completed. And
that guy is working for his paycheck.
Absolutely, yeah. But so the problem that I sort of also foresee or ran into. So say for instance, if I was able to do a seller financing for this individual, I would most likely go out and do hard financing or private lender. But my problem was if I wanted to go back and then renegotiate a regular mortgage with that property in the current state, and the time that it might take to get them to finish that off, I'm still not going to have a company that's going to give me a regular mortgage at the 3% at this point. Mm-hmm. So, but it was interesting just to do a little bit of the homework. And what was nice, the comps were at the bottom end 510,000, and if you really put in high end product, you could look at about 670. Because we've got all the New Yorkers who are moving out, and Danbury is one of the first towns as you come into Connecticut. And I mean, houses are, I spoke to a broker as well, one of my conversations. They were sitting in line of about 12 cars waiting to take people to just go and look at one house as they come onto the market. It's just unbelievable.
Wow.
So there's a lot of potential with this particular property, but as I say, there were a couple of downsides, unfortunately.
Yeah, no worries. I'm one of those that I say one a day. I need to come up with a good jingle for that, but one a day pays you for days. I don't know. If you just keep on having those conversations, it might feel like you were kind of spinning your wheels a little bit, but dude, that's fine. I may not have talked to thousands of people. Imagine what the next conversation is going to feel like even if you dub this one, and never dub it as a failure, but even if you dub this one as just a learning experience and that's all it was, then that's
Absolutely.
fine, because you keep on moving forward and you keep on having another conversation and until in fact, I gotta just actually no, I'll tell stories later if we have time, because I want to try and get to everybody here. But yeah, thank you, Eugene. Was there any questions that maybe we could answer around that, if there were quick ones at least? That
I
would
had
maybe
a
be like,
few-
ooh, what if I would have, what? Anyway, go ahead.
No, I had a couple of questions from just the example that you gave last week, but I'd rather hold off and let everyone else speak. And, if there's time at the end, I'll catch up on those.
Sure.
Otherwise, I'll reach out to you offline.
Okay.
Thanks.
Cool. So let's move on. Let's go next to Kathy. Kathy said she had 3 conversations. Tell us the story of your favorite one or most exciting learning experience or success story from those 3 conversations. Let's see, Kathy. Kathy, are you still with us? Here, I'm going to ask you to unmute. And while we're waiting for her, let's move to Jenn. Jenn's iPhone. She also had 3. If you beat Kathy to the punch, then we're going to move to you. So Jenn, go ahead. And in fact, here, I'll even ask you to unmute as well.
Hey.
All right, who do we have? Jenn, go ahead.
So I had I guess I had 4, and one I was talking to an agent, and it turned out that there was already an offer in on that property. So then I started to move on to another property, and I was talking to a couple of different lender options for one that would be more like a, well, I guess like a primary residence to begin with while I rehab it. And then I would move into more like it's a perfect opportunity for an Airbnb. And it's in a high demand area. So it could even be like a long-term rental option, but it's a cute little house in a very nice area. So I'm going to jump on that one.
Cool. And you're going to make an offer, sounds like?
I think so, in the next couple of days.
Cool. Congrats. Sounds like you're working right along. Cool. Any questions on, I mean, sounds like you're just out there like, I'm going to go talk to people and we're going to buy a house.
Well, the conversations are more in line with like financial partners.
Okay.
And couldn't really persuade either one to jump into it right now. They more wanted to wait till the spring. So that's why I kind of moved on from that option.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, yeah, keep on just like we talked. I'm not sure if you were here last week, but keep on just having more and more conversations. And if you feel like what I do, in fact, I'm in this right now where we're buying 7 properties. And so I'm just like, holy cow, I hope I don't run out of money. And so I know that I'm going to have to have some conversations around like, hey, I got to raise more money. And so I'm going to target and say, all right, I feel like I'm lacking now in money. I've got more deals than money. And so I'll start revolving those. And so I just today, I think I had 2 conversations around finding out or trying to be a detective to see if people that I'm talking to are interested in saying like, hey, I would love to just be a bank, twiddle my thumbs and go in on real estate deals, making passive interest. So yeah, if you feel like you're lacking there, then start attracting those to yourself by just saying like, hey, I'm going to go and I'm going to find somebody, even if I find 3 active people and 4 properties to look at and 7 not interested people in the meantime, I'm going to find some people that have capital that can back me and they can back my deal. So yeah, just put that in your mind that somebody's going to come across your path in the next 7 days. You're going to have that conversation around, and it's crazy. It just starts. Go ahead.
Sorry, I actually hope so. Because I'm working on an email for a gentleman that actually is interested in investing. So hopefully that goes well this couple days. Yeah.
Perfect. Love it. Let's go to Ronald. He says he had one with his brother-in-law. So I'm going to ask you, what was your most exciting conversation in the last 7 days around real estate investing? Was it this one? Tell us the story.
Well, so my brother-in-law, he just recently got his real estate license, and they actually they own their house, and they have a property where they rent also. So I was telling him, I'm starting to look into and maybe getting into a flip or something, and because he has his license, he can use that to capitalize on that end also. But really, that was about it for me last week, because I've been working a lot right now. Christmas coming up and all that, and I'm trying to get away from working. I work in construction, so yeah. But
cool.
Hopefully,
yeah, and I love that, because if you look at almost any big company, I don't know like the whole story around it, but if I've heard the story of Steve Jobs, for example, and if you look at his success story, it was, hey, one of my best friends, let's do this. Let's go build these computers for this guy, and they basically just told somebody else that they're going to do something, even though they didn't know how they were going to do it. They didn't know what they were going to do. They just said, we're going to do it. And he surrounded himself with some of his closest buddies, if you will, or family members. I've got a bunch of friends that are very successful who have business partners as family members. And so that's, it's not a bad place to start, to be like, hey, dude, you got your real estate license. So, I personally don't have my license. So just because you partner with a real estate agent, let's say you throw their 3% commission towards your deal, and he rolls his seller's commission in, that's 6% better than I could ever do on a real estate deal, just because you have that team member that might be willing to say, hey, let's partner on this. Now, if you want to start getting into advanced strategies, I hired my assistant. He has his broker's license. And so when I made an offer last week on a deal, I just said, hey, I'll pay your purchase price, but we're going to lower it by 10 grand. And you're not going to pay a realtor commission minus the $1,000 I'm going to pay my assistant. So I still get the benefit, but he's on my payroll. But you can just right off the bat be like, bam, let's partner on these deals. And so you start surrounding yourself with, right, you've got the realtor in your pocket. Now you need a title agent, an attorney, a contractor, a mortgage officer, an inspector, all the people. And so, yeah, dude, it sounds like your team's growing one person at a time. Let's see. Let's go ahead.
That's good. No, I was just that's what I'm trying to work on.
Love it, man. Let's go with Coach Road. Tell us about your real estate investing conversation.
Mine primarily, my days are really full. So going out and trying to make things happen independently. I've done that in the past, just kind of struggled through and redone a house. And I've had a lot of experience with trial and error, mostly error in the past. But, my life, I don't have a lot of income because I'm a volunteer, been a volunteer my whole life, but we've lived simple. So we have some assets. And then I also take care of my dad, who's almost 96, and he has some assets, but I also have to make them last so that he has enough income. So my strategies recently have been, since I don't have a lot of income coming in, I have to leverage what I have. And so the conversations have been around like talking with my bankers and talking with Mitch and just in my own mind, trying to figure out, the assets that we have that are kind of just sitting there, and they're great to have, obviously, but I want to put them to work. And so I'm kind of finding different ways to access cash through, those things that we've had and built over the years, and have really just sat on because they're kind of our security. But my mind is working differently now when it comes to utilizing that,
multiply and replenish.
Sure.
Those assets.
So the last one that I'm actually working with Mitch on this Denver Street one, and It's for my dad, and he doesn't have a whole lot, but he does have a brokerage account. And so I actually leveraged that to get some money. And so you're paying money on that, obviously, but if your return is a little bit more than what you're borrowing off of that account, because it's not actually taking anything away from his investments. It's just an automatic, it's kind of built in to his brokerage account that you can access money. And so that's what we're doing.
Oh yeah. Is it called a loan management account? I think it is, LMA.
No, it's called, what is it called? A margin account. So it's a margin account. And so he has his brokerage account, and then based on the value of that, they will automatically loan you up to a certain amount. And then you pay, I think it's 8% on that money. And it's simple interest. And so what happens is that, you know, if we turn it in 5 or 6 months and I pay 8% on that money, if we make, you know, virtually maybe whatever it is, you know, if I make more than that, then it
10,
makes
12,
sense.
18, whatever, more.
Yeah, as long as it's more, then it makes sense, because it's not actually even his money. It's borrowed money, and his investments are still growing and they're still making dividends or whatever it is that he's depending on. And the only risk that you have in there, obviously, is you have the you know, the risk of real estate, obviously. But if for some reason that the market crashed and the value of his account went down, then the margin that you're able to borrow also decreases. And so you just don't want to max that out. You want to, so you just want to make sure that you're being smart with it. But at the same time, it's money. It's money that's sitting there and accessible. And so if I can make a little bit for him off of that, then it seemed to be a good decision. So we'll see. I mean, we're still at the beginning stages of it, but that's my brain right now, because I don't have the income. Like, it's not like I can say, okay, well, you know, I'm just going to save up all this money that's coming in, because it's not there. So
I was the same way.
Property.
I had to use other people's money, or else I wouldn't be. In fact, I finally used my personal credit, my personal resources on my first deal like 3 weeks ago. And that, I mean, by that time I had already done like 90 some odd real estate deals. And I finally was like, oh yeah, I actually have money now. Like, I can actually use my own stuff now. And so now I'm like, hey, let's start doing this. Because when you get to that point, and I really relate to you in that my wife and I still live crazy cheap. In fact, Mitch was the one who told me I needed to stop driving my Hyundai Sonata because I didn't care. And so went and got the dream car, but still, you know, for how much we make, we live relatively extremely cheap. I mean, enough where I could afford a down payment per month on a new piece of real estate. So I'm finally just like, you know what, let's start putting that to work. But I mean, that's been 5 years in the making though. It took me 97 deals. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, and so what were you, that's curious to me, because why would you be like, if you're just now doing that, why would you be letting that money sit there and not put it to work?
I am so conservative. Mitch can tell you this. I am so conservative, so risk intolerant, that for me, paying off my house, paying off all my stuff, and having hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in the bank was just like security blanket. We'll use other people's money to do all these deals, and I will just build reserves where my wife and I could live for years on end if I didn't make another penny. And for me, like, that was very empowering. And it's funny because I still am in that, I still choose to stay that way, where very, very low on the debt service, very, very high on the cash. But now that I've hit that where my wife and I could probably live for 2 to 3 years on just the cash in the bank, I'm like, all right, let's start deploying that at a high rate of speed into more and more real estate, because now I can from my own resources. But that was just a personal preference, right? I mean, I grew up on a dairy farm, very, very conservative, very, 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 very frugal mindset. And so for me, that was like, you know what? I want to have those couple of years of just cash in the bank. And I don't care if it does nothing for me monetarily, it does a lot for me up here to just say, you know what,
that's just curious to me, because I have to be frugal. Like, that's my lifestyle. And maybe the difference is that you had income coming in, and so it didn't matter. I didn't
in the beginning though.
Right. No, but it didn't matter that money wasn't making money. Like, for me,
exactly,
not deploying the money to me seems not frugal. You know, like to leave it sitting in the bank and not working for you.
That way. I felt that way when I bought that first one myself 3 weeks ago, where I was like, am I making the right decision? Like, I felt all the things.
No, I'm with you, but I feel like, I kind of feel like I'm the same person, like being frugal, but I'm exact opposite with like how I think to leverage the cash.
Yeah.
But that's awesome.
I don't want to say there's a wrong answer, unless you do something that's dumb, that you're losing money and you're losing cash flow, then that's dumb. But if it's going to make you money, then to me, there's no wrong answer. It's just your risk threshold, your comfort level, and the cushion, if you will. But yeah, love it. And for sake of time, you'll have to forgive me. I got a bunch of people I want to make sure I get through. Let's see. Who did we already go to? Hannah? Let's see.
You haven't done me yet.
Okay, Hannah, go ahead.
I had one conversation with my partner. She's not on here tonight. She had some stuff lined out, and I don't know how that turned out. And the only other thing that I had happen was I drove by some properties I got to check out yesterday. I was on the time clock, so I couldn't do it at the time.
Cool. So next step is go talk to those people. Don't just drive by, because that's a waste of gas. Go talk to those people. Even if you just take a picture. I used to do that all the time. I'd drive around and like take pictures of yard signs, for sale by owners, and and call them. But yeah, just remember that if you know this, but this is even for everybody else. All wealth is built through that conversation, and the more conversations you have that get out of your comfort zone. And I could be very, very wrong in this, but you sound a little bit like myself. Where are you a little bit shy?
No, I'm just tired.
I
just got home.
Shy, tired, almost the same thing.
Yeah, I just got up with a 24-hour shift. So.
Ooh, well, thank you for being here.
I couldn't stop and do anything yesterday because I'm on the time clock. I mean, so it's not a situation where I have much control over. It's just something I'm like driving by and I go, oh, yes, I got to put that in my memory bank.
Yes. Take those pictures, call those peeps.
Absolutely. I am curious what you're going to say, Daine, because we do have some students on the call who have mentioned to me that they struggle with certain things because they're shy. So I am interested to hear what you're going to say about
that. Yes. So in essence, if you guys were on the call last week, you guys heard me say, like, literally, like, I had my wife, the woman who became my wife, she had to come up to me and say, are you going to freaking ask me for my number or what? In fact, after I told that story last week, I had to tell her about that. We're like, you remember this? And she just laughed. But but even when we got married, like, she didn't ask me to marry her, but she kind of like Like, Daine, are you going to ask me to marry you or what? Because I was so painfully shy. Growing up on a dairy farm, you don't develop personal skills by talking to cows. And so I really had to start, I don't know, playing these games in my head, if you will, where I would reassociate having a conversation with another human was just a conversation. And it became fun to say, you know what, I'm going to be a detective, right? Shy people, and you know, Mitch, I just have to rub this in your face a little bit, because Mitch is not shy, but shy people actually have an advantage over those who are not. Why do I say that? It is because at the end of the day, if the person that you're talking to feels like you are genuinely interested in them, their life, their situation, their solution, they're going to do business with you. And so when I decided to make it more of a game where I am a detective, because really I said I'm going to be a detective because I don't want to talk. I just want to listen, right? I just want to sit there and listen to them. And so I would come up with those questions to get them talking so I didn't have to. And that was one of the most empowering mindset shifts that I had, because then I just knew that I was going to ask these sets of questions to the same, these same sets of questions to every single person I meet. And then people started answering them. And I was like, cool, I can help you. Based on your answer to that question, I can help you. And it became this, you know, where I wasn't like selling people. I wasn't trying enough that I have the perfect solution for you. In fact, if I don't have time to share my, but that's basically how it happened. I was asking people questions and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I think I can help you. Yeah, heavens, yeah, let's do that. And made my first real estate paycheck. So just reassociating your mind, like, it's not about being shy, because at the end of the day, it's human nature that we all want to help people, right? I mean, most of the kids, I don't know if you guys did this when you were kids, but in elementary school, they asked everybody, what do you want to do when you grow up? And most kids were like, oh, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to. And I was one of those kids, and you know, everybody give me a hand raise if you know either you were like this, right? That was me, where that was the only thing I could come up with, right? But most people are like, you know, I just want to help people. It's human nature. And so if you reassociate it that way, it's not about being shy. It's about, I am here to serve you. I am here to help you. I am here to find out the gap that I can fill in your life, right? So anyway, there's my soapbox on being shy. And that one mindset shift has led to millions of dollars in revenue, in other people's money, I mean, transactions, you name it. Yes, let's see, who have I not gone through yet? Dan, I know I need to get to you. Dan Christiansen. You had 2 conversations in the last week. Tell us your most exciting one.
Well, like I said, since I wasn't here last week, I was trying to convert a couple of conversations into your question.
No worries. Just tell us a story. That's it. And we'll see if there's any way we can go.
Mitch and I had lunch last week and talking about things that I see. Ultimately, it kind of ties into what you were talking about, Daine. Talking about things that we might be able to do better to help more students and solve more problems, right? Fill in the gap of more people. So that was one kind of, you know, general thing. Another thing that I did was for one of our students in Mitch's program here, I reached out to a friend who's been in the business of building modular homes. And that was a really good conversation because I've had students in the past that I've coached that want to do and have done, another, creative way of doing things is finding property and building brand new and building and selling, right? I had a couple, the first couple that comes to mind is a couple in, I'm trying to remember if they're in South Carolina, and his dad worked for a manufactured home company. And so they started buying these lots of land that no one really wanted. And they're putting manufactured homes on them and selling them and making a good profit, right? And so it comes all the way back to me talking to my one buddy and him giving me more insight on a lot more modular home companies that could work. And that's tied back to one of our students is looking to buy a big piece of land and potentially put multiple homes on that land. So it's not 100% me going out and trying to do a deal for me personally, but it's ultimately tied back to our students and the program.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And that actually sounds kind of cool. Like, Mitch, did you catch that? But you guys probably talked about this, but I mean, you think about flipping houses, you buy a piece of junk, ugly house and you got to tear into it, go, 7 dumpsters of the hoarders, dolls and whatever they leave behind. I mean, we had some crazy stuff on one of these recent ones, but anyway, story for another day. But instead you just buy a piece of dirt, somebody else just dumps a house on it and then you sell it.
Love it.
Like, I could get behind that.
I've never done it, but one of my students from a few years ago, I think, Daine, Mike Kessler. Mike does that.
Yeah. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. And especially if you sell it with, so Dan, like what I understand Dan was talking about, like you sell it with the dirt on it. And so you sell it as real property now.
Absolutely.
Much more valuable.
That's a whole, there's a whole gamut of how you're going to do it based on your market and what's going on. Like I said, the couple in South Carolina, they're able to find these lots that are dirt cheap because people have lots that are in essence good for nothing. They've held on to them forever and they're like, yeah, I want to sell that for, $6,000, $5,000, whatever. And so they pick it up. They make sure that everything's going to line up well with the laterals, meaning, electrical, water, sewer,
water,
and so on.
All that stuff.
But like you said, it's basically, okay, plow down this crazy grassy lot and where are we going to put the foundation and drop the house on it and we're good to go. Sell it. It's brand new, right? So, okay.
And those double wides are just, I mean, they are getting so nice.
They really are. I mean, some people would say, oh, I would never look at that market, but it's amazing because everyone has to have a roof over their head. And like you said, Daine, it's crazy when you go into some of these newer manufactured homes and you're going, this is like the nicest home I've ever been in. I mean, it's the scale is completely a huge range depending upon what you want to pay for. So
yeah, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. All right, so we're short on time, so forgive me. Ron Hyer, let's see, had about 5 or 6 mostly other entrepreneurs, but Ron, tell us about your most exciting conversation, and if you have one that's closest to real estate, pick that one.
Well, hi, everybody. First of all, it's really good to see your faces tonight. And it was...
And dude, turn your camera on. I don't care if you don't have makeup on.
Well, I'm trying to... I'm reclining. I was hanging Christmas lights and the ladder decided to change position tonight. So I'm a little bit sore. I know. We live for experiences,
you get a pass this week then.
But... we were in one of our short-term rentals, had some plumbing problems, and one of the people that came in to do service, we started talking and found out that he really thought he'd do more with his life than plumbing. And it turned out very nice. It was a good conversation, and I was able to, I think, give him some hope and confidence in his abilities, and that the future can be what he wants it to be instead of what the man does.
Mm-hmm. Where did that conversation end?
We're going to get back in touch the next time he comes over. We, like I said, it was some plumbing problems, but I'm kind of excited. We'll see where he wants to take it, kind of, and
yeah,
I'm excited as what that might be, or how we might be able to work together. It's a guy that I was pretty impressed with his attitude and his willingness, you know.
Love it. Good to hear from you, man. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has.
Let's see. I can't remember if I missed anybody. If I missed anybody, just come right off of mute. Let me know. I know you guys are going to hear from Tyson in just a minute, so I was going to let him save his for last. Let's see. I had to skip over somebody. Was it Kathy? Kathy, if you are able to come off of mute now.
Yes, I just did.
Would love to hear yours. Cool.
Yeah, I had screaming babies in the background, so I couldn't
three
unmute.
of those myself, so I know.
But I've actually had some kind of interesting things. I'll go over them real quick. One was I found an online wholesaling women's group, and somebody had posted that they were looking to see if anybody out there would be willing to partner with them. And oh my God, she had like 40 different women saying, pick me, pick me, pick me. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. You live in Florida. You live in North Carolina. You live here. So I'm picking and choosing who do I want to partner with. So that was kind of interesting. And I've had some conversations with a few. And then the other was a credit repair group. And when I used to be a mortgage lender, that's how I got people to buy homes, is for about 6 months. I would help them repair their credit, and then I go out and find them a home. And that's how I made my commission. And I thought, if I have buyers and then I go out there and I have these buyers, I just have to look for the sellers. So that's another way to get things rolling. And so I started hooking up with a few people that are local. And and also my son, who's in the Army, he has a friend that just got out of the Army. He's got a really, really good job, has a buttload of money, and wants to do something but doesn't know how to do anything. So we're partnering with him. As soon as I get back to North Carolina, I'm currently in Dallas. We're going to start looking for homes. So that's pretty much how my week has gone.
Cool. Love it. Cool. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? If I missed you, come off of mute. Oh, Sheri, because Sheri was in her car or something like that. Is Sheri still with us? I think
she just barely left.
Oh man, I just missed her. Okay. Well, two things I wanted to leave you guys with, because go ahead. Oh, Jason, yes.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I didn't mean to be the caboose here.
No, you're good, brother. I'll write down my thoughts. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. This has been a charged week for me. I wish I could always have this many conversations, but I don't. But this one just seemed to fall in the right spots. But I have a childhood buddy that's a developer out in California, and he knows our love for a state down south. I guess I can say that's not weird, right? South Carolina. And so we've been doing a lot of research in South Carolina. And long story short, I begin to, pitch to him kind of our thoughts about developing land. And he showed some interest. And so the more that I talked about it, he's already developed a really neat community where he's in half of phase one, but these really beautiful houses that could be, you know, a single family home, but they have an attached garage in it with an in-law suite over the top. And the entrepreneur in me doesn't think in-law suite. As much as I love my in-laws, I think like, ooh, Airbnb, right? So I end up pitching to him like, hey, is it possible to have a community of Airbnb people, right? Like, would that be weird? And he's like, no, we're doing it out here. So long story short, I have a real estate agent looking for us down in South Carolina, but then I'm a sucker for Redfin. I don't know if anybody uses it at all, but I'm always on Redfin. Yeah. It's bad. I think I have a problem actually, but I'm
so like, you go through and you scroll through Redfin and you swipe right and you swipe left.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I'm hooked. But especially like with land, I see my buddy developing land, and I know it's a longer game. But I'm interested, right? And so I'm a learner, so I'm just checking stuff out, and I come across this guy, and it's funny because this conversation last week kept going through my brain. You just never know, right? Kick up a conversation. And so I start digging in wholesale property that's off market, and I come across this guy, and I just reach out to him and said, hey, I know this is crazy. I'm a guy from Cleveland. My wife and I want to end up in South Carolina. We're kind of weird, fruity people. Like, we love all kinds of different types of homes, or entrepreneurs, blah, blah, blah. If you get a sec, can you call me back? So he calls me back, and he's like, I pitched to him kind of what we're doing, and my buddy out in Reading, and he's like, you're not going to believe this, but we have an beautiful old lot. It's about 18 acres, and we just pulled off 18 old mobile homes, and we got rid of them. And this land is beautiful. It's got 6 septic tanks, and he just started naming off all this stuff, and I'm like, what? So anyway, I'm in this conversation with him. He knows what we're looking to do with, you know, smaller homes, and it could be mobile homes, right? It could be, you know, some of these
tiny homes. I mean,
yes,
tiny home is basically a mobile home, just sounds cooler.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So like, we just know that we want to eventually go smaller, and I don't know if it's tiny house. My wife will kill me. I might kill her. It wouldn't be good, but maybe it's got to be a little bit bigger than that. But we're figuring it out.
You just get 2 of them.
Along. Right. That's right. There's lots of options with something like this, but it just was so rad being able to talk to him, because he was just like, well, we've got these properties over here, and oh, I know these guys over here. And before I knew it, like, he's making connections for me. He sent me his entire list. He put me on list. He connected me to other people. So that kind of the nudge that you gave us, like, I don't know if, I mean, I'm a talker and I can talk with people, but I wouldn't have engaged this guy if you wouldn't have, you know, kind of kicked us in the butt a little bit. So anyways, I don't know if anything will come of it. It sure sounds awesome. And I don't, it's retailed at 218,000, and they're selling it for 60. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, okay, I got to talk to Dan, the man. I got to talk to Mitch. There's something here. We got to talk, you know, like, so I don't know what's going to come of it, but the conversation happened, and it amped me up, and it's got me into other conversations. So I appreciate the kick in the pants.
Cool. Well, I think you're going to appreciate what I'm going to leave you guys with. Am I okay, Mitch? I'll make it real brief. Give me a thumbs up, Mitch, if I'm good. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
So 2 things I want to leave you with. The most important one is what you guys have here every single Thursday. You know, and I know Mitch has named this Ask Mitch Anything, but this is for you guys, right? Every single one of you that jump on here should be sharing your conversations. And you know what? Sometimes I didn't want to do this to you guys this week, but Mitch can decide if he wants to do this later on. But sometimes come together and just share your worst conversations that you've had in the last 7 days or in the last month or whatever. Because dude, those are some of the ones that I learned the most from every single time. What not to do is just as important as what to do. And learning from those mistakes. But yeah, come together. This is your guys' time to bounce off of each other like this and hear other people's stories. Because yeah, Mitch has done a lot of deals. And so it's you know, if Mitch says, oh yeah, we did another deal, it's like, of course you did, right? In fact, I remember thinking that about Mitch when I first got started with this. I was like, you know, Mitch, yeah, we picked up another one. I was like, yeah, of course you did. But what about me, man? Like, I want a piece of this. And so continue like sharing your own wins, your own loses, your own losses. No, I'm not going to call it a loss. I'm going to call it your learning experiences. Okay. But, right. So this is your time, but remember this, you will not make any money by coming to this meeting. The most important thing will happen what you do outside of this, kind of like what Jason was saying. The most important thing you do is going to be what happens outside of this meeting, right? And Jason, I don't want to pick on you just because you were last, but I'm going to pick on you just a little bit, because if you come and you think that you're going to get the answers here, you get some answers here. The real answers are going to come from the conversations that you have outside of here. Okay, and here's what I mean by this. Okay, I want to talk. This literally just happened today. Right, a guy named Mike Hepworth that I just met, I don't know, a few months ago. And Mike and I have been chatting a little bit. We've been having conversations and he's like, dude, I want to get into real estate. And so long story short, he's taken up this advice where I just said, dude, go have a conversation a day about real estate investing. And here's what happened. And I love telling like the newbie stories, because the newbie stories are like more inspiring than like, hey, I bought 7 houses this week, right? It's so much cooler to hear somebody like Mike that has never bought an investment property in his life. He's like 75 years old now, never had an investment property in his life. He's working 2 jobs, and he's sitting there thinking like, all right, 75, real estate investing is my new answer. Because if Daine could do this in 5 years, then maybe I can do it in, well, he told me 10, but I'm like, do it in 3. Because if I already did it in 5 years, I paved the way for you, buddy. But anyway, so Mike says, all right, I'm challenge accepted, Daine. I'm going to go have conversations. And he realized outside of the meeting, right, outside of the masterminds, were the most important. And so he goes off and he starts having these conversations. And it was interesting because he comes back and he tells me like, oh yeah, like I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. But guess what he just tells me? Guess what he just told me today? He's like, Daine, I wasn't even expecting to have this conversation. It just happened. I was maybe attracting it in my mind because I'm thinking, oh, I got to have my real estate investing conversation today. And he talks to this gal at work. He knows this lady. He works with her all the time. He talks to this gal at work, and she just starts talking about her divorce and how stupid her ex-husband is and whatever. Okay. And he knows I have to have one conversation a day. I'm almost wrapping up this night shift. And so I'm going to go home and go to bed. And so he's like, you know what? I've actually been thinking about getting into real estate investing. And he steers the conversation where she's complaining about her husband and complaining about this divorce and whatever. And she actually picks up and goes, really? Well, let me share with you about my situation with this ex-husband, right? And so here, I'm gonna show you guys an email that Mike just sent me. Here it is, right here. Yep, here we go. So he has this conversation. I can't remember what her name is. Amber. So he's having this conversation with Amber, and literally, and I'll just give you guys the cliff notes essentially. She says, the divorce decree says that my ex-husband has 90 days. My ex-husband has 90 days to refinance the house. And if he refinances it in 90 days, he gets the house and all the equity. If he doesn't refinance in 90 days, then I have 180 days to refinance it. And if I can refinance it, I get all of the equity. And so she's like, he has already passed his 90 days. He's actually living there. And so he's going to have to get kicked out. He thinks he can just freeload, whatever. And I kid you not, look at this. You I'm going to make you guys a promise that if you are in this long enough, you will hear these exact words. This is not the first time I've heard this. This is the first time that Mike has heard this, though. She says, and I quote, if I get someone, dude, we're talking $39,000 on this property that's, I looked at it briefly, it's probably worth maybe 200 if it was fixed up. The underlying mortgage is $39,000. There's a ton of equity here. When he told me that, I was like, yeah, get her on the phone. Okay, but regardless, listen to this. So if I can get $39,000, then I can ultimately cash him out or cash out the underlying mortgage, and I get to keep the house. If somebody is willing to give me an extra 31,000, they can just keep it. Here's the reason why she only wants to sell it for 70,000, where it's worth 200. Let's see, I do not want Sam to see a dime of profit. And so if I do it this way and sell it very under market, then I will walk away and I can basically restart my life, but my ex-husband gets nothing. In other words, if I translate this, she wants to sell this at a screaming discount just so he doesn't get anything. It is not the first time I've heard divorced couples do that when they're trying to sell homes. And so I hope you guys are learning a couple of points from this. Yes, it's a crappy situation. And my heart goes out to any of you that have ever gone through a divorce. But somebody needs to help this lady, or else the divorce decree says, if it's not sold within either of those two time periods, they just have to list it on the open market. Nobody gets to keep the house, and they split the profits 50-50. And so at the end of the day, you're helping, Mike is going to help this lady, and I'm going to step in, and we're talking 39 grand here. Originally, when he told me the story, I was like, okay, let's see what's going on. And now I'm just like, whoa, I don't care where that house is. If it's worth 200,000 and we're talking $39,000 to help this lady to get herself into a better situation, then great. Now, I say that because the most important work that you will do will be outside of this meeting. If you need money, yeah, I mean, you can come and you can talk amongst each other, and that's what this is for. But at the end of the day, I mean, I don't want to take too much more time here, but at the end of the day, the people who have given me millions of dollars are the ones that when I started that conversation, I just looked like the smartest guy because I'm getting educated and I'm learning everything I can about real estate investing. And so they're just like, dude, you're a genius. How in the world do you know this? You know what? Don't tell me. How about you take my money and let's go do real estate deals and I'll be your bank, right? So Jason, that was just for you because it sounds like you've got deals. Now you need to start having these conversations around the money, right? And because deals is not the only conversation, but just remember that as you go out, the most profitable, I should say, conversations that you will have will probably not be with Mitch, right? And it took me a long time to realize that. And I told that story a little bit last week where I remember thinking like, I got all kinds of educated and I came to Mitch, I was like, all right, Mitch, where's the deals? Where's the deals? Where's the money? And I had a rude awakening that no, I'm going to have to go and have conversations with people that I have no idea where the conversation is going to lead. But if I can become that detective and figure out what that person needs, then I'm going to help them accordingly. And that is and I would dare venture to say that is the only reason that I've been able to close over 100 real estate investing transactions in just the last 3 years. So let me leave you guys with that. It's all wealth is built through conversation. Here is where you help hone your conversations, but outside of this meeting is where you have conversations. And I'll leave you guys with that. Thank you guys for having me.
Daine, thank you for being on the call. You're welcome to stick around if you want to see what a $20,000 staircase looks like.
I have to see this $20,000 staircase.
Just before we move on and I turn the time over to Tyson, I just want to echo what Daine was saying. In the mindset class, we talk about what pay time is. And I learned this from a mentor of mine. A few of you on the call know Michael Huggins. He would always hound on me about what pay time was. And he would ask me, we'd be in a meeting, an educational meeting, and he'd say, "Is this pay time?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I think it is." He'd be like, "No, it's not pay time. Who are you talking to that's going to give you money?" Right? The reason you're here is to learn how to take advantage of pay time. It doesn't make it pay time, right? Being on this call may make you feel good, may make you feel like, hey, I'm getting my real estate batteries charged every week and that's all I need. But really, when you don't get paid from anything on this meeting, what you get paid from is going out and having those conversations with people. I think over the last 2 weeks, Daine has been very generous with his time and has shared some really amazing nuggets with us. But I think one of the most important things he said all week is that wealth is created from conversations. And that's so true. I mean, I've always said, this is a people business. We're not negotiating with bricks and mortar. We're negotiating with people, right? So important. Get out, have those conversations, make a habit of it, set goals around it. What an incredible training. Daine, thank you so much.
Pleasure, man.
All right, Tyson, it's time. Let's show them what Almond Street. We've been through this property before. This is the property that I believe, Tyson, correct me if I'm wrong. I tried to look at my notes and I don't have it in there, but I believe this property was built in, I can already see some of the staging. I haven't seen it yet. I'm excited. I'm as excited as you guys are to see this staging. This property was built in 1884. Now, to give you some perspective, the state of Utah became a state and got its statehood in 1896, 2 years after this property was built. So this property is older than the state that I live in. When we found it, it's a pioneer home. When we found it, it had been vacant for 15 years. I have some sneaking suspicions that at some point it was a brothel of some kind. I don't know, maybe just a triplex. But it's really made a transformation. It went from being, having squatters in it, and it had been vacant for so long, the plants and trees were actually growing inside the house to what you're going to see today. So Tyson, take it away, my friend, and let's take a look at this Almond Street property.
All right. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Daine. Today has been really awesome. And I want to share my story about my real estate conversation. It's like a 1-minute story. A wholesaler randomly reached out to me and is like, "Hey, I'm building my buyer's list. Do you want to be on it?" He only has like 5 people on his buyer's list, and he knows like nothing about real estate except from his new wholesaler class that he paid $20,000 for. So I've been talking to him and giving him advice because he's asking for it. So that's fun. All right. I'm going to turn my camera around so you guys can see what I see. Okay. Actually, I'm going to turn off the lights before I turn the camera around because I have something special for you. All right.
And we're in the loft right now, right? This is technically the third floor if you include the basement.
Mitch knows what's about to happen.
I'm excited.
Nobody else does. Yeah.
This property literally got finished today. So
well, it's actually I need to make something abundantly clear. It's not done yet. It's not done being staged. And that's important for me to clarify because the stagers have a brand and they want to make sure that no one sees things that are not finished and think, oh, they call that done. So yeah, it's almost done, but it's not done yet. There's still more details that they need to work out.
Cool.
Where is the other light switch to this room?
Looks like
Mitch, where's the other light switch? Do you know where it is?
Did I miss that this is a flip or a Airbnb?
This is a flip.
In the curtain?
Okay.
Our stages is just
Thank you. I found it. Yeah, this is a flip, and I'm going to go over the numbers as I walk you guys through this. Push my camera around. There it is. Okay. Now, can you see what I see? I know we probably can't see it as well as I see. That's Salt Lake City. And like I can see 180 degrees from side to side. And because you guys are seeing this through a camera, you cannot see as well as my eyes can see, because that's how cameras go, right? Well, okay, I'm gonna turn the lights back on so that you can see this room. Okay, this is the stage room. Now, this big window that I just showed you a view from, when when they originally put a window here, if you imagine like maybe a quarter of this window pane on the right-hand side, that's the size of the window that they had, and it was right about here. And then we were like, you guys,
it was like
seriously?
1 foot by 2 foot, tucked in the bottom right corner of that window hole. I'm like, nope, that's not gonna work.
So we're like, really? That's all you and so we had them take out that little window and cut out this thing, and this window got finished about 2 weeks ago.
So for those of you who know the Salt Lake City area, this is in the avenues right above the LDS Conference Center. So it's like 100 yards from the LDS Conference Center to the north, up on the hill.
Meeting settings. I'm trying to pin my video so that everyone sees my video.
If I do it, will it work for everybody or just me?
Everybody else has to pin their own video, but Tyson, if you just start talking, then we'll be able to see yours.
Yeah, I know that. So let's just go with that. All right, so I'm in the loft right now, and can everyone see Daine's face, or can they see my screen? Because I see Daine's face.
We all see your screen.
Okay, great. So I'm going to walk into this other room over here. Now, when we first got this house, this I don't remember what it's called, Mitch. Maybe you can fill me in. But this thing where the roof kind of goes over and then straight down, that was not there when we first bought it. Originally, it was all these walls that we see, just like the ceiling coming down all the way along the house.
Called a dormer.
Dormer. Thank you. So again, the stage isn't done yet. That's why there's this stuff on the ground. Just a bedroom, nothing special, but we added this bedroom up here. This is a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house. All right, Daine.
This was just an attic when we first bought the house.
Yes.
This was an attic.
And you just reminded me, Mitch, over here in about this corner, this is where the tree was growing. The tree was growing into the house in this corner. And up on this wall, ceiling right about there, there was knob and tube. Who knows what knob and tube wiring is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I learned about it when I started investing in real estate. I had no idea what that was. So here's this staircase. This isn't the best view of it, but I'll show you a better view. $20,000 staircase.
Nice.
You guys can walk down it with me. Now, those of you who were on the call last time we did this house tour of this Alma Street property, you'll remember that this is where the ladder used to be. I had to walk up this rickety ladder to get to the top floor. All right, here's probably going to be the cover photo of the house. Something like this.
Gorgeous. I love that.
Do a slow pan for dramatic effect. All right. I'll tell you a quick story. When we first bought this house, yes, there were squatters in here, and the contractors had to come and check every day to make sure there weren't people inside there, because it was winter when we bought it, and they usually found people inside. I came one day and there was a belt on this door that they used to like wrap around the handle and yank it open. And so I didn't really want to go inside that day because I didn't want to find anybody else. Now, when we first got this house, let me explain, I'm going to try to explain how the floor plan was when we first got it. So you walk in, here's the front door. You walk in the front door, and here to your right, kind of even with this white pillar there, was a hallway. And you walk forward about 2 paces, turn to the right, and there was a wall all along here, and a door right about where I'm standing. So you'd open the door and walk into this little dinky room, and right about Right in front of that green chair, there was a fireplace. We took that out. And then there's another door. Like this house was a series of rooms and doors. And so you go through another door right about here, go down this hallway, and then past where these stairs are now. And right about here where the table is, there was a closet door about 4 feet tall. I'm 6 feet tall. So you open the closet door, I had to duck to go inside. And there is this rinky-dink staircase ladder thing that went up to the top floor. But there was no staircase down to the bottom floor from this top part of the house. So it was kind of like prelude to something scary in a scary movie. That's how I felt when I was going up it. Oh yeah, kitchen. This kitchen used to not be here. I'm going to show you where the kitchen used to be, and I'll show you right now. I'm going to go into the master bedroom, give you a short tour of that. Here on the right is a walk-in closet. This room is the master bedroom currently. When we got the house, it was the kitchen. There were pipes, plumbing, and other things you would find in the kitchen right along this wall. This window was originally not here. In fact, there was no window here on the back wall. There was a door about in the middle of the screen, and right outside the house, you can still kind of see where the foundation of the staircase used to be as it went out this door. And this is another place where the vines and a tree was growing into the house right here as well. And this bathroom, Mitch, I think this is the favorite bathroom we've ever done, by the way. I like this bathroom the most.
Oh, good.
This bathroom has a vaulted ceiling. That shower is about 4.5 feet wide. Just a good looking bathroom. Do any of the students remember where we put the most money? Is it the bedrooms?
No. Kitchens and baths.
Kitchens and bathrooms, exactly. So the stager, though she's not done, she has two main goals. One goal is to put enough eye candy in the house so that people just go, oh, as they walk through it and just get so excited that they only see all the eye candy, which is nice because no project is perfect. I think we'd all agree on that. But if there is an imperfection, the eye candy distracts them so they don't see it.
Right. There's no, what did you have?
And this obviously isn't done yet. Mitch, question for you. Both toilets in the house, two toilets that I know of in the house have masking tape over them still. Do you know anything about that?
I do not. We're going to have to ask Daine.
Okay. Okay, now we're going to go downstairs. Remember, there was originally not a way to get downstairs from this level when we bought the house. Downstairs used to be split into 3 different units. So this was a 4-plex. And every time I've called in to do utility stuff or order services from the city or the county, they keep asking me, is this for unit 1, 2, 3, or 4? And I'm like, nah, just erase that. It's just one house now. One house. Oh, Mitch, also, all the bathrooms are missing light bulbs still. Not sure if Steve is aware of that or you, but now you are.
Perfect.
It's the bathroom there. Shower rod is right there. This room is kind of like a master in a way that it's adjoined to a bathroom, but it has a separate door for the other people to use this bathroom as well. When we first got this house, this door is one of the spots that the original doors were located. I'm going to show you 2 other cool things, okay? So as you go along this wall, this window is where this door number 2 was. we disguised it as a window. And on the outside, they did some nice blending and framing the window back in. Behind this door right here, window number 2 is where door number 3 used to be. So pretty cool, right? I'm going to show you one other cool thing. When I got the house, kind of in the middle of where this staircase block is, there was a fireplace. This house had 4 fireplaces in it. And this floor was, it sloped down. So as you kind of stand where the stairs are and you walked this direction, it turned into this dusty, crumbly concrete. And then eventually it turned to dirt. So we had to excavate the concrete and then pour a whole new slab downstairs. Does anybody want to?
Guys, this is the only flip I've ever done where the rehab costs more than the house.
And I was about to ask people if they can't remember to guess how much the rehab is on this house. You guys want to throw your
Ooh, I know. Just kidding.
Mitch, you're not allowed to answer. Throw your guesses in the chat. I want to see what you guys think. $1,295, Mitch. $385K from Jason, $180,000 from Eugene, $200,000 from Daine Clark. Okay, I'm gonna.
Are we playing Wheel of Fortune
from
rules?
Dan. What?
I said, are we playing Wheel of Fortune rules, or is it just whoever's closest?
I think whoever's closest. I think Daine wins the prize. Daine, $200,000 was the original rehab budget, and we got the project has lasted a lot longer than we expected. Now we're over budget, but we're still going to make a profit. Good profit, by the way.
Actually, I'm going to make a correction to that. Sorry, Tyson. Our original budget was $50,000, and we're just about. We're probably going to be slightly over, just by a few pennies. Slightly over $300,000 when it's all said and done. However, when we first bought this house, our ARV was $675. Maylee pulled comps today, and we're going to be listing it for $830.
Oh my gosh!
Woo! Market appreciation. Our purchase price on this house was $250,000, which is what the lot adjacent to it just sold for this week.
That's music to my ears, Mitch.
That's right. Tyson's involved on this deal, so
because I'm part of this deal. I love that. Yep. Make some money. All right. So this is the laundry. It's even labeled. Look at that.
Is that right, Daine? Daine said those darn $20,000 staircases really helped get that up there. Might be why we're slightly over budget. I don't know. But I saw that happen. So.
Now, I was looking, Mitch. I think we've had this house for a year and a half now. I think
it's going on 2 years. And actually, this is a conversation. Our contractor on this one, we're obviously are they there, Tyson? Who's upstairs?
The only people here right now are the staging company. It's Lauren and his wife Sheri.
Our contractor has been very meticulous in charging me for change orders, and it's $1,500 a change order. So that's what's put us over budget. However, he's 13 months past what he told me it would take to get the house done. So he told me 9 months, and we're coming up on 2 years here in a minute. So luckily we're gonna. Then this is also the longest flip I've ever held that we're still gonna sell and make a profit on it. I've had a couple of them, 3 or 4 of them that we just eventually turned into rentals. But so I'm going to, Daine, I might pick your brain and see if you've ever had to, you don't own any real estate. You just do loans. I'm just kidding. I'm going to be having a conversation with this guy because that last draw is coming up, and I think I'm going to be asking for a hefty discount because he's 13 months over his time that he quoted us.
Yeah, and I know that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest deal with the finances in this. I will say, however, that they are very detail oriented, and that's good.
Yeah, they've done a good job, and we're still going to make
a good job
profit on it. So, yeah. I can't complain too much, but sometimes
the only thing I'd watch out for, and you know this, Mitch, but in the same light of all wealth is built through conversation, all wealth is kept through conversation too. So be careful how that conversation starts, because at the end of the day, he could file that contractor's lien and make it very difficult for you. So just make sure that whatever you agree on, like, get it in writing for sure, so that he can't come back. We actually had one of those last year. I think it was last year, where somebody filed a notice of interest on one of our properties, and even though it was technically fraudulent, it was a beast to get that undone.
I've dealt with
we chose to just pay them off instead of sue them for a fraudulent notice, essentially.
Yeah,
because it was cheaper and it was faster. So just be careful with that. You know that though, but I'm sure everybody's going to need to hear that.
Yeah, butter them up, right?
You might run into that.
Make think it was.
Hey, Mitch, and building off of what Daine just said, and you're really good at this, Mitch. I just want to comment that how you approach a situation will determine the outcome, regardless of the merits of the situation.
Agreed, 100%. Yeah, and that's exactly it. I've learned that the hard way, actually. I when I first started, I thought you had to go in and show them your muscle, and that just ended up causing more problems for me when it came to contractors. But I think approaching this from a very amicable, from a very amicable place will only benefit us. So worst case scenario, I paid him what he originally quoted us. My only frustration is that that adds $50,000 to my holding cost. The extra 13 months with extensions and points and all that. But Daine, I should have had you finance this, man. I would have only been $30,000 in extra holding costs. But
yeah, what the heck, man?
I know, right? I actually bought this from Matt Strong, so I felt a little.
Oh, this is that deal.
This is that deal.
Right.
So I felt a little obligated to be like, I got, I already have some funding, but I'll buy the property from you.
Yeah. Matt's definitely loving you on this one.
Yeah. Yep. He loves the property though. He's as blown away as we are at the progress that we've done. So. All right, Tyson, okay. You have exactly 45 seconds to wrap this up.
All right. So here's the last bathroom. I'm going to tell a 45-second story about the other bathroom that I almost forgot about. Running. Okay, running through the house. All right. So see what this vanity is? They put a egress window right there. And on the outside, it's still there at the moment. They had to frame over it so they can put in this vanity. That was an architect problem.
Whoops.
Okay, I'm done with the house tour. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do you have any questions for me or Mitch?
Yeah, let's fire off some questions if you guys want to chat about this at all, and we'll wrap up the call. Going once, going twice.
Hey, Mitch, you've talked before about, in the past we've talked about kind of you and Maylee setting up kind of what you do in each house and kind of the format and the colors, and you've got your system down.